Hello aspirants, welcome to Deekshaa IAS, the Anthropology Guru Series by Dr. Tejaswini. So before starting the subject of anthropology, let me first explain you something basic, that is the structure of the skull. I am telling you this because this is something that will be needed in future and you do not want you all to get confused. So this is something a very basic diagram of the human skull. So do you know that the human skull is made up of 22 bones? It is made up of 22 bones, of which there are 8 cranial bones and remaining 14 other facial bones. Now you might be thinking, what is facial and what is cranial? So facial bones are the something that form the face of the human skull, whereas the cranial bones, cranial means cranium, that is related to the brain. So this cranial part, it lodges the whole brain. Now let me explain to you all the parts of the skull as well as the sutures of the skull. To tell you all in simple terms, we have two bones. Just a minute. We have two bones which are individual bones, and we have two pair of bones. So now these two bones are the frontal bone and the occipital bone. They are individual bones, that is they don't have their other counterpart. So this forms the frontal bone and this here is the occipital bone. Apart from this, the other two pair of bones that I am talking about is the parietal bones. So this is the right parietal bone and this is the left parietal bone. And the other two bones are, this is the right temporal bone. So here we will be having this right temporal bone and this side will be the left temporal bone. That's why this region is also known as temple sometimes. You know, this region is also known as temple. Now there are another set of bones. This is known as a sphenoid bone actually, but this is not of much importance in anthropology. That's why I am not going to explain this in detail. Now sutures are something that are formed when two of these bones come together. Okay, so now in between the frontal bone and the parietal bone, this is the coronal suture. This is the coronal suture, and in between these two parietal bones, that is the left parietal bone and the right parietal bone, forms the sagittal suture. And last but not the least, the one that forms between the parietal bone and the occipital bone is the lambdoid suture. So the main sutures that we need to know is the coronal suture, the sagittal suture and the lambdoid suture. And the bones that are there are the frontal bone, the parietal bone and the occipital bone.